$20. That's what it costs to process 1 million tokens through a GPT-4 class model in late 2022. 1 million tokens, about 750,000 words. 40 cents, same capability, January 2026, a 50x reduction in 3 years. No technology in history has seen its unit cost fall this fast. Not semiconductors, not solar panels, not storage. The price of machine intelligence is crashing at 200x per year. Last time, we asked whether AI is a bubble. Today, we follow the money one level deeper, into the economics of actually running these models, the inference economy. Most coverage focuses on training costs, how much it costs to build GPT-5, hundreds of millions of dollars, tens of thousands of GPUs running for months, but that's not where the money flows. Training is a one-time cost. You build the model once. Inference is the recurring cost. Every ChatGPT query, every Copilot suggestion, every AI search result, that's inference. It runs 24/7. 700 million people use ChatGPT every week. Each query processes through NVIDIA GPUs in Microsoft's data centers. Each query costs money. Multiply that by billions of queries per day. $8.7 billion. That's what OpenAI spent on inference alone in the first 9 months of 2025, nearly double their revenue for the same period. Every time you ask ChatGPT a question, OpenAI loses money. Their subscription fees and API revenue don't cover the compute cost of serving responses. The math is simple, and it doesn't work. Here's where it gets interesting. Inference costs aren't just falling, they're collapsing, faster than any technology cost curve in history. Look at the spread. Claude Opus charges $15 per million input tokens. DeepSeek charges 28 cents. Same class of reasoning capability, a 50x price difference, and DeepSeek is open source. 3 forces drove this collapse. First, architectural breakthroughs. Mixture of experts models activate only a fraction of their parameters per query. DeepSeek uses 37 billion of 671 billion parameters per token, 95% less compute. Second, open source competition. Meta's Llama, DeepSeek, Mistral released frontier quality models with open licenses. This forced every provider to cut prices. Third, inference-optimized hardware. Companies like Grok, Cerebras, and SambaNova built chips specifically for inference. SambaNova claims 16 of their chips replace 320 NVIDIA GPUs. NVIDIA still dominates training hardware, but inference is a different game. It's about cost per token, not raw power, and new players are building chips specifically for that metric. The result is clear. Raw intelligence is becoming a commodity, like bandwidth, like storage, like electricity. In 1865, an English economist named William Stanley Jevons made an observation about coal. Steam engines were becoming more efficient. They used less coal per unit of work. Everyone expected coal consumption to fall. It didn't fall, it exploded, because cheaper energy enabled new uses, factories, railways, ships. The efficiency gains didn't reduce consumption, they unlocked entirely new demand. Same pattern. Per token costs fell 1,000x during 2025. Enterprise AI spending surged 320%, from 11.5 billion to 37 billion. The cheaper it gets, the more people use it. At $20 per million tokens, you answer questions. At $2, you summarize documents. At 20 cents, you build AI agents that run continuously. At 2 cents, AI monitors every transaction, every email, every sensor in real time. Researchers at Stanford and MIT have shown that reasoning AI models lack natural saturation points. Performance scales with compute. There is no enough for inference demand. If you're selling a commodity, you're in trouble. Commodities have one defining feature: zero pricing power. The lowest cost producer wins. Everyone else bleeds. OpenAI projects cumulative losses of $44 billion through 2028. Profitability isn't expected until 2029 or 2030. Anthropic targets break even in 2028, but currently burn 70% of revenue. These data centers cost billions to build and millions per month to operate. The electricity bill alone for a single hyperscale facility can exceed $10 million monthly, running 24/7 to serve inference requests. Open source models now match frontier performance at a fraction of the cost. Llama 4 matches GPT-4o at 30 cents per million tokens. DeepSeek R1 matches O1 at 28 cents with open licenses. Self-hosting breaks even at 2 million tokens per day. $600 billion. That's the gap between what AI companies need to earn to justify infrastructure and what they're actually making. Someone has to eat that loss. 1882. Thomas Edison opens the Pearl Street Station in Lower Manhattan, the world's first commercial power plant. Electricity is a premium product, sold by the kilowatt to wealthy customers. By 1920, electricity is a commodity, regulated, standardized, available to everyone at low cost. The companies that generated electricity became utilities, regulated margins, modest returns. But here's the critical insight. The companies that got rich weren't the ones generating electricity. They were the ones using it. Ford built factories. General Electric built appliances. The value accrued to the application layer. AI inference is following the same path. The companies selling tokens may end up as the utilities of the 21st century. Essential infrastructure, modest margins. The real value will accrue to whoever builds the factories that run on this new electricity. If raw intelligence becomes cheap, where does the value concentrate? 3 layers. Layer 1. Cloud providers, AWS, Azure, Google Cloud. They don't need to win the model race. They just host whoever does. They're the electric grid. Layer 2. AI native software. Companies that embed AI into workflows, not selling tokens, selling outcomes. Layer 3. Enterprises that deploy. Companies that use AI to do things faster, cheaper, better. Amazon, Microsoft, and Google each spend over $100 billion a year on data centers. They don't need to win the model race. They just need to host whoever does. They're building the grid. NVIDIA dominates training, but inference is different. Inference-optimized chips from Grok, Cerebras, and Samba Nova are entering the market. Custom silicon from Google, Amazon, and Meta is maturing. NVIDIA's 95% market share in training doesn't guarantee the same in inference. The inference market is projected to grow from $106 billion in 2025 to $255 billion by 2030, 19% compound annual growth. But the question isn't the size, it's who captures the margin. Here's what I think. The inference economy is the most important economic story of this decade, not because of the technology, because of what it does to business models. Companies selling raw inference are building commodity businesses. Margins will compress. Open source will undercut them. The lowest cost provider wins. Everyone else becomes a utility. The winners won't be the companies that build the smartest model. They'll be the companies that deploy AI most effectively. Just like Ford didn't build generators, he built cars. 50x per year. That's the rate at which intelligence is commoditizing. No infrastructure technology in history has lost pricing power this fast, and that's not a crisis. That's an opportunity for the right companies. Edison built the generator. Ford built the factory. 80 years later, Ford is worth more. The lesson is the same every time. Don't invest in the infrastructure. Invest in what the infrastructure enables. Next time on Market Autopsy, the GPU shortage, how one company's supply chain became the bottleneck for the entire AI industry.